Good day, everybody, and welcome once again, to Tri-County Sasquatch Watch. My name is David Davidson Davies Jr.
And I'm Donna Rochelle Davies.
How y'all doing? Now, we got a little heated last week, our last episode, and it got to be something, it's a big deal, though. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's very important that we get this information out because we're going to save lives with this. And I know me and Donna Rochelle Davies, we sort of hint at things as we're going on this journey.
Mm-hmm.
And we want you to glean those things. Get a piece of paper. And when you hear us say something like, hey, you need to get a cat so you don't get Googled. Oh, well, we'll talk about that later. Make sure you write that down, right? That was a serious little drop there because cats save your life when it comes to a squatch. Okay, they can. We, like Miss Donna Rochelle Davies said,
some people can't have cats though because
some
they're
people
allergic
can't.
to them.
There's a list of things you can do to save yourself from a squatch. Number one on that list is having a cat. Okay,
We got 5 of them.
well, actually we got 6.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
How could I forget?
We got Dobby and Dipsy and Dodie. We got Dipper, Dennis, and Doug. She calls him Dougie. I just say Doug.
You get used to how many cats you got, and we got a new kitten in here not too long ago, and he's just as sweet as he can be.
He's a hunter too. He's a hunter.
He is, but they're all inside cats most of the time, so.
My recommendation is
the stuff they hunt is,
there's 3 things.
The craziest stuff.
The 3 things you can do when it comes to deciding about a cat.
Yeah.
Okay, is if you aren't allergic to them, then get one. Obviously, get one.
If you have the ability to, and you can provide a good home for it.
If you can't get one, you can't provide it. Then befriend an outdoor cat.
Or get a stuffed cat anyway to put in the window of your house. That way, if perhaps somebody's walking by, they can say, hey, is that a cat in that house? And,
so when that person
they'll be warded off because they'll think, okay, that's cat in there.
Yeah, if that person happened to have been Googled in
that's what I'm. Well, I should have said that first. I'm sorry.
Or may get Googled later, then what that information that's taken will say, hey, that house right there has a cat.
That's
when that person got Googled.
That's right, because sometimes there's people that have like a forest near their home. Lots of trees.
You're going to want a cat.
And sometimes got a squatch that might be nearby peering through the trees. Nobody will ever see them, by the way.
You never see a squatch.
Never.
Yeah,
But
that's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up, Donna Rochelle. You ain't never, ever going to see a squatch.
Not these days, no.
Not these days. And there's a reason, okay? This is one of those pearl drops. I want y'all to get your pen out. It's because of the technology, okay? It's the technology. Now, folks, don't worry about that right now because we're going to touch base on that. But there's one other story in the book by Dr. Culverson, The American Sasquatch, Its Habits and Habitat by Dr. Wolfgang Z. Culverson, How to Survive in the Sasquatch World. Anyway, we're going to talk more about technology. Well, of course, we'll talk more about cats. So just to put a nice little bow on it. Get a cat if you can. If you can't, adopt an outdoor cat or get an indoor-outdoor cat if you have allergies. Don't let them stay in. They only come in to eat, then you put them out of the house. Because right now, I'm going to say it real quick. I'll say it real quick.
Yeah.
Squatches cannot abide cats.
No, they cannot.
And here's why. Because cats can't be Googled.
No, they can't.
It's like a little moving spot of darkness in a squatch's mind that he cannot understand what that is. He knows it's an animal, but it's so foreign to him that it turns them off and they leave. And that's why
freaks them out.
Yeah, freaks them out. That's why cats are so important. You know how some things give you the heebie-jeebies? Mm-hmm. Well, that gives a squatch the heebie-jeebies. Okay, and so anyway, I'm going to go back real quick. All right, let's talk about Dr. Culverson. Remember we mentioned he was on his way to Mongolia.
Yes, I do.
There, when the transference happened for Dr. Culverson, he had been the 5th in recorded history where transference has occurred. Now, since my granddaddy gave me that book, from that day till now, I believe I've accounted for 2 more. I believe that. I don't know for certain because I haven't found these people, but I believe it's happened 2 more times. We'll talk about that later when we talk about America, but right now we're in Europe.
Okay.
So Dr. Culverson tracks down, he literally tracks down every instance that's happened, even if the person had passed away years ago. He still tried to find that family, to see and do the research and to talk to people that knew them and get the lay of the land there. And he always had a guide with him. He had hired help that were good with weapons, people that were good with the local language, or people that were good with helping search.
Gotcha.
So he always had somebody with him. He never went out by himself, which is good rule to live by.
Yes, it is.
Never go out in the woods ever by yourself. Ever.
We had a friend recently that went out by himself. Okay. We was all so nervous for him. Okay. But he's real hard-headed. And we couldn't tell him, don't. But there was a time in the middle of the night, he said, that he was afraid that he got Googled.
Yeah. See, and folks, I'm going to interject real quick.
But he didn't. He didn't.
He wasn't Googled. He just thought he was.
Yeah.
Because remember, all right, there are 3 different types of Googling, and we'll touch base on them later on. Okay. There's the Googling that's meant to get you eaten. That's the hunting Googling. Then there's the informational Googling because the Squatch just wants to know what's going on.
Right.
And then there's what we call the pod Googling.
Oh, which is
that one's crazy.
Deal.
Okay,
big
that one's
deal.
crazy because not all Squatches can do it.
Nope.
But anyway, so Dr. Culverson discovered there was a living member of a tribe in Mongolia who had a transference happen to him by the Mongolian Sasquatch.
What's that one called?
Don't get me to say that name. It's written in the book. I will put it on the website, but I cannot pronounce that word for the life of me.
Okay.
I might as well be saying wishy-washy, wally-willy.
I know.
And I know that's wrong.
Okay.
I know it's wrong.
Okay.
So, but I'll figure it out. And how about we'll just call it the Mongolian Squatch. We'll just leave it at that.
All right, that's good.
The Mongo Squatch.
Well, I don't know. It depends on what they would prefer.
I had a friend's name. We nicknamed him Mongo. That's why.
Well, how about
he's kind of a big guy.
Why don't we contact somebody who speaks Mongolian?
That's a good idea. Let's do that. Anyway, he arrived there with his friends, and he set about trying to find this woman who had been Googled. Or transference had occurred.
And it was a woman?
It was a woman in this instance.
Okay.
And the guide has an insert in his book to talk about this happening. It's a real interesting read if y'all when y'all get to that chance.
I gotta let Diggity out.
We got a dog. His name's Diggity. It's out front, honey. I put the chain out front in front porch.
Hold on.
You know what?
What?
When you were taking Diggity outside that's our dog, folks. Anyway, to go do his business, it was the female was in Italy. The male.
See, that's why I asked you because you had
the
said
male
the man is from Mongolia.
The man is Mongolia. That's the male. He was a tribal leader, and he got a transference occurred to him.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay.
Dr. Culverson takes the opportunity to let the guide tell the story because he thought it was important because what the guide said blew him away.
What did he say?
Okay, this is how.
I mean, I read the book. I'm just.
I know you're asking.
Purposes, right?
You're basically you're the narrator helping it along.
Yeah, but sometimes I get all caught up in your story and I think, what they say, and I've already read it.
So Dr. Culverson let his guide tell the story, and this is what the guide described. You see, Dr. Culverson found them and talked to them. He said their rapport was instantly at 100% level. They were talking.
Like they never met before.
They never met, but now they had been best friends their whole life. They had a common thing. And of course, the common thing that happened to them was a transference.
They were Googled.
Yeah, they had been Googled, but they hadn't become supplicants. They were only the transference.
Oh, wow.
So Dr. Culverson said they sat there all night around that fire and just chit-chatted the whole night about everything. And he was able to link things with other tribes of Squatches, and in Mongolia they're communal too. So he now knew about Chinese Squatches. He knew about the lower Asian community of Squatches. And now Dr. Culverson was able to gather information from this other guy for the whole continent of Europe.
Whoa.
Because of the transference. But the guide said, when he described the encounter, was not how Dr. Culverson had described it. The guide said he sat there all night and they never said a word.
What?
They were just staring at each other, sitting at that fire, staring at each other. The guide said he fell asleep, woke up, they were just sitting there staring at each other. And the next thing you know, Dr. Culverson blinked, looked at his guide and said, well, that's all I need. It's time to go. I got all the information. And the guy was like flummoxed. He couldn't believe what happened.
Incredible.
He could not believe. And what Dr. Culverson was able to glean from that was there's something else that happened during that transference. Something else happened.
What happened?
He not only received all that information. If you had a transference happen to you and you encounter another person that's had it, you can talk via telepathy.
That is just crazy. Mind blown.
And the guide said, when Dr. Culverson said, okay, I've got everything I need, let's go get something to eat, he had said it in native Mongolian language. He wasn't speaking English anymore.
Oh my goodness gracious. I'm telling you right now, mind blown. Crazy? I got chills.
Isn't that crazy? And so what Dr. Culverson did was he decided right then and there, I got to write this book. I got to get it published. So he went back home and he started working. But then he felt a pull, something pulling him to the Americas. Something was pulling him to the Americas. So he went on with it. He went in, got him on a boat that happened to be running. Let's take a long trip. Those were arduous and dangerous trips.
Oh, yes, they were.
He made his way to the Americas, and then he started recording American Squatches and what they did.
Wow.
He was in the Americas for 30 years before he published that book.
That is incredible.
Gathering all that information.
And lucky for us,
and lucky
too.
For
lucky
us.
for us.
So I finished reading the book.
Yeah.
My eyes were opened.
Yes, they were.
I realized what was going on. My granddaddy filled in. Oh, shoot. There it is.
Taco casserole.
Taco casserole's ready, folks. I'm sorry, but we're going to have to go
it's going to be good.
It's taco night's one of my favorite
I got a
nights.
recipe book, too, and we'll post that later on. Really good stuff.
That's really, you know what? Maybe we'll call it the Squatch book. Squatch cookbook.
So
what do you think?
We'll work on it.
We'll work on it. Okay. Well, my name's David Davidson Davies, and I just want everybody who's listening to know I believe.
And I'm Donna Rochelle Davies, and I believe.